Hello, hello. If you're out there, give me a wave. Say something in the chat. Just seeing if anybody else is going to join. Hey, good to see you. Oh, jeez. So embarrassing. I have to fix the lighting in this office. You're welcome. Wait. One more minute. Hello, hello. Yep, you're in the right spot. So I have an empty project. Nope, YouTube is the way to do it. You're good. That is the correct way. Can you hear me all right? A little out of focus. Okay. Thanks for the feedback. How's Xcode? That's the important thing. Let's see. Yeah, well. Yes, absolutely. I'll disable that. Thanks for your feedback. It is iOS district. Yeah, no problem. Is that better as far as music? Yeah, sure, we could do that. Is that better as far as seeing the text? Luckily, we're not going to be looking at too much code, so it's not going to be a big issue. Cool. That's what's important, is you could hear my voice. So I think we'll get started. Just make sure I cross all my T's and dot all my I's. Yeah, I need to fix. This is not what you want to see, so I'm still playing around with lighting here. Let's try that. So, let's get started. So, do I like Swift UI? Yeah, I think it's better than storyboards, so I'll give it that. I think it's still a beta product, and you can tell. If you check out, I have some opinions on my podcast I will post in chat. But I've been talking to a lot of folks about it. I think it's like good for watch. If you're doing a watch app, I would really consider it. if you are doing an iOS app, I would slowly transition to it. I think that's kind of my thought on it. It's just good to see declarative UI on Apple. Okay. Yeah, so we'll go over that. So let me think if there was anything else I was going to go over. So I have the app Speculid installed on here. The way, so, oh, yeah, that's what I was going to share. I was going to share the repo. Yeah, it has a very steep learning curve. Absolutely. I'm not going to deny that. Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense. WatchKit is pretty simple and limiting. So if you go to this repo here, we'll take a look at what we're going to do. I have app with on the master branch on this. If you want to go ahead and clone it, I have a bunch of SVG files here. I mean, I'm sorry, these might be a little bit small. So I'm going to show you what we're going to want to do. We're going to go, well, let's just run this app for now. We're going to go, this is, yeah, which branch are we on? So it's empty. So I can pull up the simulator. So as you can see, it is empty right now. There we go. It's empty, nothing there. But what we'd like to have, maybe we could have tabs at the bottom, and we'd like to show some images. So if we go, I'm going to hide the simulator in here. And I am going to go ahead and pull up the asset library. Actually, let me clean the repo. Reload. Actually, one second. I'm going to reload this so we can see. Yep. So we have a bunch of missing icons on here. Let's make sure. There we go. So we have a bunch of missing icons on here, but we have these SVG files. So what we need to do is add the Speculid files to this, so that way we can go ahead and have the actual graphics in our asset library. So the first one I want to do is add the logo and the word, because I want to add a logo for the launch page, the launch screen. So you can see the launch screen here. We're supposed to have a logo and a word mark. So let's go ahead and add that. Feel free to jump into chat if you have any questions. So I'm just going to create a file called breakdigitword.speculid. It's just a JSON file. I'm going to copy it actually from the home page. So if we go to our home page, I will set that in. Shall I go up here? Copy it with the HTML anchor. Yep. So this is where I am copying that information. Since it's two parent directories back, we're going to have to do two double dots. And then that will take us back to here. And then we need to grab the directory for the word mark, which is word.imageset. And then we say the name of the SVG file. In this case, it is break-digit word.svg. I'm going to remove the geometry because we really need that. So just to clarify, neither of these files, by the way, need to be added as target membership because we don't actually package them with the app. What will be packaged with the app is the PNG files and PDF files that will be included with the app. So going back here. So we're going to export these four files, the one PDF file, the 1x, 2x, and 3x PNG files. Source is relative, since it's in the same directory, we can just say the name of the SVG file right there. And then we have the relative path to the image set. Next, I'm going to add the run step, the run script phase. I want that early on in the build process. So if you go to your project and you go to your target, we have the build phase right here at the top. And then we have right here where we can add the run script. Again, I'm copying this from the home page. So if we go down, grab the URL to that specific section. We're going to copy this code here. And we are adding that. Find within the root of the source any .speculid file. If so, go ahead and run the process command on that file. All right, so in theory, this is a live demo. This really is live. When I run this, we should get our one PDF file and 3 PNG files. So let's just go ahead and build and see what happens. Beautiful. There we go. We've got a PDF file, and we have PNG for 1x, PNG for 2x, PNG for 3x. Let's go ahead and add, we're going to add two two more Speculid files for the logo, because we want one that's an image set to be used on the launch screen, and then one for the app icon. So let's go ahead and do that. New file. We'll call empty file. Don't need to add it to the target. Right digit logo dot speculid. If you're just joining us, feel free to ask me questions or jump in and wave if you are here. I'm going to call this app icon.speculid. Okay. Let's add, just going to copy this for now. Logo. Again, the name for the set comes from the name here. And if you added a folder, you would have to make sure you specify that. So we're talking about logo, which is this one here. And then we need to add the app icon. Let's go ahead and do that. And that has a different grab the name. We remove the parent images and pack. So Sumnath, hopefully I'm saying your name right. What I would do is you want to add the SVG files and Speculid files to your GitHub repo, and you don't need to add the PNG files and PDFs to your GitHub repo. When you build the app, those resulting images will be added to the app. So in other words, what I suppose you're talking about here is with the package the ones in the asset. Right, those are the ones that PNG files and PDF files will be the ones actually used in the app. You don't actually use the SVG files in the app. They're converted through Speculid, so they can be used in the app. So hopefully I answered that question. See what I did there? Okay. And so, app icon set. This is not going to work, and I'm going to show you why. Yeah, and I add a get ignore, and I will show that later. I have a get ignore line to not add the PNG files and PDF files to the GitHub repo. So, because it's a lot of binary files that I don't, a lot of bloat, and you're just going to build it. It's a resulting build file. That's not the right term, but you know what I mean. What was I going to do? So I've got the icon set. We built it. Oh, yeah, I remember now. 1 second. App icon will not work. Oh, you're dictating. I got that. Let me show the simulator. All right. Here's my brand new iPhone XR with no apps on it. Let's run the app and see why this is not going to look very pretty. Okay, you probably just saw that. So we're good with the launch screen, but our app icon is hideous. This is because when you've converted it to a bit, you've included the transparency. App icon should not have a transparency. Therefore, you will need to remove the transparency, which luckily we can do with the app. We go in here, and we're going to remove the transparency. I'm going to be a little bit crazy here. This is just a typical hex code for a color. I'm going to hide this. Actually, let me just move it over. Oops. Come on. Right there. Beautiful. So this is a hex code for white. I'm just gonna make it white. Actually, just to mess with things, I'm going to go ahead and change it to red. So alpha, red, green, blue. You pretty much are used to this. So we're removing the alpha. We're removing the transparency from the SVG file, precisely because it looks hideous without that, and app icons need to have the transparency removed from the PNG file. So if we remove this, we should get an app icon with a red background. Yellow. Yeah, I think it's done differently, but I got my hex codes wrong. So, yeah, let's try this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, there we go. Red. Oh, doesn't it look gorgeous? No, I don't think it does. So we're just gonna go back to white. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, F. And now we have a white app icon. Cool. All right. So we have the app icon. We have the launch screen. Please let me know if you have any questions. We have the launch screen working. You can see that. I'm going to remove the simulator for a minute. Pretty cool. Let's add some tabs. So sorry, this is going to be some Swift UI stuff. I just figured, what the heck, people love Swift UI now. Let's try it out. We're going to add a series of tabs here. I was having issues earlier with the canvas, so I'm just going to run the simulator to preview it. So we just have an empty view. That's why you don't see anything. But we're going to add basically like a tab to view. And then we are going to add we're going to add I refactored this. So we're just going to add a view. Essentially, it's a view with an image, and then we add a tab to the bottom with your typical image with text at the bottom, kind of what you've seen in a old-fashioned tab view controller. So view for string. Let's add one for news, and let's see what happens. Get a crash because there is no image named news, which is what we knew because we have not added that. We have news, but we don't actually have any graphics attached. So let's go ahead and add the Speculid file for that. So I'm going to go into news. I'm going to create a new file again, empty file. We're going to call it. Please let me know if you have any questions. News.speculid. And that does not need to be added to the target. And we're just going to copy what we had here. The image set is called news. And the SVG file is called news. All right, cool. Well, let's see what we get. This is going to be interesting because I think this is not going to look very good. Yep, this looks hideous. What we have here is we have a massive SVG file that needs to be scaled down because it is not the size for a tab view. So we're going to add a property here called geometry, and we're going to give it a size of 30. What this means is, yeah, well, I'll explain that in a minute. Thank you, Somnath. So we're doing with geometry is we are saying that the width will be 30 and then scale the height accordingly. There's some other, yeah, it does look hideous. There's some other ways you can do geometry. We'll pull up the home page real quick. So you can either specify the height or the width. If I want to say what the height would be and then scale the width accordingly, we do this. If we want just the width and then scale the height accordingly so that the ratio stays the same, we remove the X. So that's just to let you know how geometry works. Let me answer the question with Somnath. It's just an issue that for some reason, the way the scaling is done right now, we're only off by 1 pixel. So that is why we get the yellow exclamation mark. It's going to look fine. It's just off by 1 pixel. But it should work okay. If you do have an issue with it in production, let me know. I would appreciate your feedback. But that is why we get a yellow exclamation mark here. The other ones, we have yellow exclamation marks because we're missing files. So, okay, this should look good. Let's run it and see if I am correct. I'm going to show the simulator. Beautiful. That's what we want. So we have a news tab with a little news image right there. Any questions with regard to that? Let me know. I'm going to move on to adding some more tabs. So let's go ahead and do that. And we get to learn a little bit of Swift UI in the process. Let's see, what was the other one I was going to add? Videos and view. Contact. I feel like I'm missing something with the podcast. Actually, I know exactly what I was going to do. We're going to call it EIS, named after my podcast, and we're going to set with label podcast. That's what I was going to do. Okay, so let's go ahead and add the other Speculid files. So go ahead and copy this. This is the quiet time of the program, so if you do have questions, please let me know. EAS. S. Yep. Then contact, same thing. I wonder if I can... Oh, that does work. Oh, I held down the control button. That's awesome. Nope, no, we don't want that. Oh, did I drag the wrong file? There we go. There. 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 That will save me a ton of time. Contact. Thought I was going to copy the whole. I don't know what happened. Contact. What is a show file? Are you teasing? Yeah, there we go. Does that answer the question? So that's that. That's that. Okay, contact. SVG. A show file is a typo that I did because I forgot to put the real extension is. So there's that. Contact, we have that. So we're just adding these new tabs. Swift, Speculid. Swift and Swift.svg. And then lastly, videos. Videos dot svg. I think that's all of them. Let's cross our fingers and see if this works. Run. Simulators. Awesome. So now we have our 5 tabs for the podcast, for the Swift blog, for videos, and for contact. One thing, let's see why the images aren't showing up. Let's see. Must be a Swift UI bug, I'm not surprised. This news shows up, but then the other ones don't. Yes, yeah, I don't know. But point being, we have the icons at the bottom, which is the primary thing I wanted to be concerned about. Do you have any questions before we close out? The repo should be in chat, and if not, I will add it, send it out in an email. If you're not on the, it should be on the mailing list. If you're not, let me send that as well. Any questions? Here is the link. Just gonna be curious. Wonder why the image doesn't show up in simulator. You know, I wouldn't be surprised it has something to do with the way SwiftUI loads these tabs up. Oh, I know exactly what I need to do. I figured it out. Come on, tag. Tag? I think it's tag. Yeah, so George, that is not set up right now. That is a feature. How you're talking about, like, when you first run the app, you have to drag each icon in. Is that what you're talking about? I figured it out. I think that's gonna fix the images. I am correct. Woohoo! Yeah, I figured. I don't know why you need that tag thing. George, is that what you're talking about? Like when you first run the app, you have to drag each icon in the asset library? Because if you were to run this, like if we were to add a new icon, let's just do it. And then let's do an app icon because those are even more fun. Yeah, okay, that's just to make sure I understand. Call it dark mode icon, whatever. Yeah. Yep. So I want to add that, like, because all I had to do is just modify the JSON, the contents JSON to include the that. So if we were to add, we should replicate the file. Yeah, there we go. What do I call it? Dark mode icon, right? Should we do? We'll do red. I mean, red's not technically dark mode, but whatever. Build. Yeah. So this is what you're talking about, where I have to drag each of these over manually. So I have to go in and go iPad. And well, the nice thing is, I mean, you only have to do it once. Once you do it, you should be good. Especially if you're committing the contents JSON and the Speculid file. Those file names will automatically be set up. That is something you are interested in. Let me send you a link. So we have a repo, and I would appreciate a vote up. Which one is it? Yep, there we go. Upvote that issue, because that's what it is. I think we're good. If you have any questions, you have my email address. Is a file being created with the alignments? What is that? All that's being modified so we can actually look at the behind the scenes. Where's our dark mode one? Oh, it didn't do what I wanted it to do. It's JSON, actually. It's not XML. It's not letting me show it. I'll try adding this window. One second. You see this? So yeah, it's a JSON file. And all that's being changed is there. Yeah. So here it's just adding a file name property. That's all. That's all it's doing. George, to answer your question, so I just need to make sure I spit that stuff back out into the JSON file when the process is done. Any other questions before we close out? I'm going to provide my email address. Or you can also get a hold of me on Twitter. But thank you so much for joining me. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Thank you so much. And hopefully I will speak with you again. To answer the question, so you can add, what I'd like to do is add that as a feature of the app. So I'd like the app to update the contents.json. George, just your question. You're welcome. Have a great day.